We're gonna do one more video dedicated to this truck, wrapping up our build series. We're on part 5. We started with a stock truck, or kind of a bench, you know, first impressions, very minimal upgrades, and increasingly just kind of went up and up and up. But I'm kind of ready to wrap this thing up, move on to other projects, move on to editing different videos, filming some different stuff, and kind of finishing strong, you know, throughout the winter, going into spring. Unfortunately, I screwed up. So I filmed the bench, this footage, and some running footage before. The bench footage, I must have accidentally deleted it because it is non-existent anymore. So the way you guys are going to see this truck today, there are a few things that are different from how I ran it. I'm not going to exactly tell you why or anything, because I'm not getting rid of this or anything. I do like it. Spoiler alert. I may not keep it forever. I'll point out the differences of what was in it, you know, for this part 5, and you guys will see what I switched it out to. So if you guys haven't seen this build series, I don't recommend watching this one to start. I do recommend going back and watching at least a few of the last ones, so you kind of have an idea of how we got from a stock Redcat Ascent to where we are now. And I'm gonna go ahead and link that video playlist up here. It'll be down below in the description as well. If you're interested, go check that out, kind of get caught up, come back here, finish this one. Okay, let's start with the most obvious. So this is Tamiya, fluorescent green, backed in white, and then I ended up backing the white and black. I just don't really care for the white interiors, but really bright. Turned out pretty good. I wanted to go with something kind of off the wall. This is a J Concepts creep body. It's been cut up pretty good. Wanted to get it kind of down as low as possible and put a more performance-oriented body on this. Probably not something I would have needed to do if I was able to get my hands on the blue body truck, but unfortunately when I ordered this, those were sold out pretty much everywhere. For $10 extra, it was kind of a no-brainer. You get a versatile body, pinched, dovetailed, and you can run cab only. So this is Tamiya, fluorescent green, backed in white, and then I ended up backing the white and black. I just don't really care for the white interiors, but really bright. Turned out pretty good. I wanted to go with something kind of off the wall. This is a J Concepts creep body. It's been cut up pretty good. Wanted to get it kind of down as low as possible and put a more performance-oriented body on this. Probably not something I would have needed to do if I was able to get my hands on the blue body truck, but unfortunately when I ordered this, those were sold out pretty much everywhere. For $10 extra, it was kind of a no-brainer. You get a versatile body, pinched, dovetailed, and you can run cab only. So kind of the world was your oyster with that one. But yeah, we just did a kind of a down and dirty one night paint job. Turned out okay. Definitely some spots not super proud of. And you probably see that there's some scratches on there. We're rocking the West Desert Wheeler, sparkly sticker up front, and we got the big DSM off-road sticker there in the rear, which kind of leads me into my next biggest modification. This is the DSM off-road Rock Warrior chassis. It's a carbon fiber conversion kit, specifically made for the Redcat Ascent. I think he also makes it for the base camp. Which is pretty cool. Those are some conversions for a little bit more budget-oriented trucks, and it was a very easy install. I didn't film any of it because, to be honest, it was very straightforward. I basically did one rail at a time, and then put the second one on and kind of cinched everything down. Probably easier just to pull them both off, but I did want to get a weight comparison between the two sets of rails and the parts that come with that. That Redcat chassis did have separate shock hoops. It also had a metal motor mount, motor plate for this the forward part of this transmission, and that is included in carbon fiber as well with this kit. Included in that chassis kit, you do also get some 3D printed body post mounts. DSM does a really good job with this 3D printing. You can see these sliders on here. These are his sliders specifically designed for this chassis. I didn't have those on here in the video you guys are going to see, the running footage, but those stock sliders did just fine. They're really not much heavier than these, but I had a credit, so that's why I ended up buying these at a later time. but 3D printing, very high quality. I'm not worried about the integrity or anything of these body post mounts. This chassis is compatible with the stock body. There's accommodations to go ahead and remount the stock body onto it. Obviously you guys saw on the green body, the J Concepts creep here, you know, and that was kind of my intention all along, was to move away from that body, get a little better clearances around the tires, fight the body a little bit less while working my way, turning into obstacles, things like that. And overall, it is lighter as well. So we'll talk about weight loss at the end. We'll kind of add all the weight losses up, as well as add some of the totals up of the build at the point you'll see it in the video, not the way you see it here. Don't look at what's inside of here. We are still running that same RS500B NSDRC servo, pretty budget-friendly servo. It is 4S capable, and I hinted in that last video that I was going to try to go to something 4S. Again, not this. I ended up going with a XORC Belay ESC. It's an AM32 silent ESC style, and a Three Brothers RC Yellow Jacket 2100 kV. That's a 4S capable outrunner. Real tiny little package. Plenty of power, plenty of grunt for this truck. And we did run 4S on it, and you guys will see that in the video. It's got plenty of wheel speed, and probably a little bit too much if I'm being honest. So with that 4S setup and this direct power servo, we gained about 90 ounce-inches of torque on the servo, which is awesome. That's a huge gain. Didn't cost us anything. That potential was there all along. I just needed more voltage to get that extra power out of it. So the wheels, tires, foam setup, that all is exactly the same. Okay, so let's talk weight savings and the current weight of the truck. By switching from that stock Redcat body to this J Concepts creep, the way I have it cut, the amount of Lexan I cut off of it, fully painted and everything, I did lose 3 ounces off the body alone, which is not insignificant, especially if you think about how high the body does sit and how that's going to affect your center of gravity. Also, the biggest weight savings is in these chassis rails. Going from a steel chassis rail to a carbon fiber rail was huge. Each rail is 4 ounces lighter in carbon fiber versus the steel. So we lost a combined weight of 8 ounces just in the chassis rails. That brings our total up to 11 ounces lighter. The weight savings did not stop there though, because if you remember in part 4, I was running a Hobbywing Fusion SE 1800. That motor weighs roughly 200 grams. That Three Brothers RC Yellow Jacket and EXO Belay ESC combined weigh 100 grams. So again, there's another 2 to 3 ounces lost right there, bringing the total up to 14 ounces. We lost 14 ounces of sprung weight by doing a chassis conversion, a body swap, and going to a little bit smaller electronics, a little more comp oriented, performance oriented electronics. The Fusions are great. They're smooth. The SE is very affordable, quite a bit more affordable than that AM32 style ESC and that Outrunner style motor. So our total weight, RTR, body, and a 450 milliamp hour Gen Z's tattoo battery, we're at 4 pounds, 14 ounces, a sub 5 pound flat rail competition truck, if you want to call it that. So obviously we spent some money. How much money did we spend? The total on this build is pretty much right at $850. Even in the last video, we were starting to creep into a pretty significant investment into the hobby. But at $850, this is a pretty serious purchase, you know, when you buy the truck and all the upgrades. The main difference in price obviously came from the $100 chassis conversion kit, as well as our motor ESC basically doubled. We went from an $80 combo to about $150, $155 for that dedicated ESC and Outrunner motor. Luckily, J Concepts bodies are relatively affordable. Links down below for all the things we added this week. You guys can go check it out. No affiliates, paid for everything with my own money, but I highly recommend, you know, checking it out, especially the smaller brands. XORC, they're pretty well known in the competition scene. Obviously, DSM is kind of up and coming. They make a lot of really great products. Their beadlock buddy is one of my favorite tools. And what he was able to do with this truck, he's able to lower the motor a little bit and give a angle on the skid, just to give it a little bit better breakover, and a little bit lower center of gravity. So I apologize that I wasn't able to show it to you guys as you're about to see it run. Really the only thing that changed is the power system and the sliders. Body's the same, chassis is the same, and the power system is I would say even more capable. Definitely got more power, and quite a bit lighter than this Fusion Pro that sits in here now. But enough talking, let's go hit the rocks. We ran this thing at the Jackson Lake Dam, just south of Atlanta. Awesome place on some granite. Got away from the lake for a little bit, spent a bunch of hours there, ran a couple vehicles, filmed a couple videos, and had a blast. And definitely pushed this truck pretty hard on some different lines that I don't normally get to run. So let's head to the lake and I'll see you there. What's going on, guys? We're out at the dam. We are not at the lake. We're about 2 hours from my house. Awesome terrain out here. You can kind of see basically infinite numbers of lines you can run. We already went over it on the bench, but we have the old green cat, no longer a red cat. It's either gonna be coined the green cat or the lean green crawling machine. I guess we'll find out pretty soon if it deserves that name or not. We're not gonna do an in-video comparison. If you guys watched my previous VRD video, kind of a comp practice, I'll link that up here if you are interested, but exact same gates. That was a first shot. Some of the gates may be a little bit wide, but very, very doable. So we're gonna see if the new Rock Warrior chassis on the Redcat, a little bit of mods that I made, obviously a new motor ESC, running 4S now, so getting even more power, about 90 ounce-inches more out of the servo. It is even faster. A little touchy on 4S. I have driven it around, but you know, we do have plenty of wheel speed if we need it. Additionally, I did swap out the springs in the front. We're running the stock springs in the rear. They're laid down pretty far, so they do act quite a bit softer than they did stock on the stock chassis. Went to some medium mini T style springs from Deluxe Fab up front. Pretty nice, pretty soft. Went over all that on the bench though. So truck's powered up. Let's go get it at the starting gate and run through some gates. All right, we got audio, we sound good. You guys may be getting kind of sick of the Redcat Ascent. This was kind of my end goal all along. Very comp-oriented body. The aftermarket chassis from DSM Off-Road, and some nice electronics. We may do a few things here and there, but I won't make a video specifically for it. You guys will just see it as I get it out and mess around with it. Okay. I probably could I need to trim that front bumper. It is wider than the body. So it does not side hill quite as good as the VRD does. Got to get it to settle here. There we go. We're not speed running or anything like that. I just want to put a clean run together. Real wide gate here on the decline just to test that approach and departure angle. Hard right turn up into a fairly technical gate 3. This terrain's pretty awesome out here. It's very reminiscent of Stone Mountain rock. It is granite. I said this thing is a little touchy on 4S, but I do want that power. So we need to pinion down for sure. This is a fast transmission. Breaking the tires in, you know, breaking the foams in even. Just getting more comfortable with the truck. All right, we're through gate 3. Actually, I've already ran this truck through 10 different gates, just to kind of get familiar with it. It's not really fair for its first run to be not really compared, but, you know, scrutinized on video. So there we go. Pretty decent breakover. Nothing crazy, but this is probably the hardest gate so far, coming up into gate 5. I drew a boundary line right there. So we're gonna swing wide. Probably will put this on my Fly Sky Noble. It could use a little bit better radio at this point. We're kind of done with the. Now I'll say the VRD did clean this gate, but it was very close to tipping over. So okay, let's take a little bit more wide approach. Come at it a little more straight on. We're back up here. So we're not going for time or anything like that. Problem is there's a big drop off right there on the driver front. So we can't go too wide. We did eliminate a good bit of, up high weight. This body just kind of sits lower. It's one reason I pushed the chassis through it. Come on. Come on, make the climb. We gotta turn kind of. There it is. We got it. A couple of rollovers, no big deal. Doable though. I should have tried that approach all along. The long trek to gate 6. There's almost too much terrain out here. Having a hard time picking what lines I want to run. Gate 6 is pretty doable. This rock finally dried off. It's very sticky. The tosses are hooking up great out here. Oh yeah, did great right there. Little boundary there just so I have to use that approach angle. There it is. We have great departure angle because I don't have a rear bumper on this thing. There it is. Nice, nice. So you can see gate 8 right there, and we just came up from over there. I did draw a boundary to force me to have to back into this one, which this rock's really, really sticky, so should not be a problem. Just more throttle resolution. Driving one-handed can be a little tough. Just gonna watch that boundary at the bottom. Start pulling out of it. A little too much throttle than I wanted, but we're through, we're clean. I didn't expect the rock to have quite this much traction, so that gate's a little bit easier than I thought it would be. There it is, there it is. Basically the same way I did in the VRD. Just didn't approach it quite good enough, but we're clean. Coming over here for gate 10 finish. We're gonna try it one more time. The key is to slowly drop your driver front tire off that ledge. At least the key for me on the VRD. Kind of let the sidewall turn into it to control your descent, and then turn away when you want to. Try one more time. Almost had it that time. We're gonna back up. We're gonna approach it a little bit more at an angle. Truck looks pretty good, actually. Not a color I would paint a lot of trucks, but pretty loud. Well, we didn't hit a gate. We went through it technically, but it was not the prettiest. All right, guys, that is a wrap on the Ascent video series. Like I said earlier, you're still going to see it here and there, but as far as our kind of slow incrementation of upgrades and seeing how capable we can make the truck, like I said, this is the final video in that series. It's been fun. It's come a long way. Part of me wishes I had a second bone stock to run it against it the whole time, but just financially not doable. Doesn't really make sense to have two Redcat Ascents, at least for me. Let's go ahead and give our final thoughts of what we think of the truck. So if you guys watched the last kind of comp practice video, just some technical running, a couple different courses running through with the VRD, very little talking, mostly just driving, a little bit of music, just out having fun, doing some filming. But where do I think the truck lands? Not quite as capable as an SDX10 Pro or a VRD, even with very minimal mods, kind of bolt-on mods intended for those trucks. This obviously has bolt-on mods too. That chassis kit is a bolt-on. But when you consider $290 for the truck and then $100 for the chassis kit, you're looking at almost $400 just to shed the weight of those steel chassis rails and kind of get the weight a little bit down low, reduce that center of gravity, lower it a little bit, make it a lot more capable. By the time you put a different body on there, a little more comp cut body. Obviously the $300 version does have that. So if you're looking to do something similar to this, just spend the extra $10, wait for it to come in stock if it's out of stock, and buy that one. You can run it cab only. You could do like a 3D printed bed or a Rock Pirates bed or something like that and have a lot of fun. The truck has come a long way. It'll do things that I honestly didn't think it would ever do. I think we are kind of at the limit of the resolution of the transmission, the steering angle of the axles, and just kind of the center of gravity of even this Rock Warrior chassis. It did help, but it's just not quite where I would want it to take it into a competition. Another concern of mine is durability. That transfer case has plastic gears in it. I know that because I put the underdrive gears in it, and you get this thing bound down, and that's the first thing it's going to give. And you really don't want something to let you down, especially in a competition. But if you're looking for a first truck for a kid or yourself, this is a great platform. Comes in at a very competitive price, pretty decent aftermarket support. I didn't have any problem with stock getting these parts. With a couple of bolt-ons, the truck slowly started getting better and better. Wheels and tires helped a lot. Obviously, all new electronics besides the radio helped quite a bit as well. But we are looking at almost $850, not pushing $900. This is a serious investment, if you want to call it that. Investment into the hobby, investment into having a very capable truck. So, my thoughts are, if you already have some RCs, you've got some experience, and you've got the budget, if you're looking to do something similar to this, I would kind of skip the Redcat, the AR45s of the SCX10 Pro, straight axle, or the VRD with those F10s, a portal axle, much more capable, going to be able to take you a lot further in the end. You are going to be set back a little bit more money, but to be honest, by the time you do the carbon fiber chassis rail conversion kit, you're pretty close competitively in price. The only reason my VRD, things like that cost more is basically the wheel setup on them. Pretty much everything else is just as good, minus the servo, but they do have about twice as much steering power. So I think the truck's good. I wouldn't recommend it to a hardcore competitor, someone looking to go to a SOCR competition. I would probably steer them elsewhere for an out-of-the-box solution. But if you're looking to get into the hobby and find a truck that you can upgrade and make it very, very capable, this is a great option. So take that for what it's worth. I hope you guys enjoyed the Redcat series. let's move on to some different trucks. We'll get back to my class 1, 2, and 3 as we, prepare for our next Sorka events. But that's going to do it for now. Hit the subscribe button before you guys go. Thanks for watching. See ya.